the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Good morning, everybody. We're back for another video today, going through Incursions again. For those that don't remember, about a month and a half ago, we did a player-led survey where you got to tell the dev team what you thought about Incursions, what the overall opinion was, and key things that needed to change to make it better. And since then, we've had multiple big changes to Incursions happen. Now, definitely I'm not here to say that Incursions is now perfect and a big stamp of approval on it, but I can say that a lot of the feedback you provided has resulted into direct change. And I think that's something to be celebrated. And whether you've talked about it on the official Discord or in my Discord or on Facebook, wherever, we've definitely seen a lot of Incursions feedback directly translate into better things for y'all. I think it's been better, so hopefully you would agree. Now, what we're gonna do here is the same thing, except taking it a step further. So for those that don't remember what we did, real quick, I'm gonna go over the original feedback. So this is what we gathered way back in the day, a month and a half ago. But this is the basic idea of how we set it up. If y'all like to see this document, I'll share it to you, but this is the presentation I built for the dev team. Went over the basic format, which is very similar to how we're doing it this time around. Link will be in the description of the video and the comments section. By the way, data gathering, last time we had over 4,600 individuals. We're pushing for 5,000 in this one, just to verify some of the context and content, and also going to try to use a slightly larger sample size for some of this, but still going through the raw data. Here was what we remember, the who liked it, who didn't. And this was your infamous number, 57.9% disliked it. So that meant, well, obviously 52.1 did, 42.1. Wow, math is hard. But anyway, this was what we went through, and this resulted in key changes in the game. What we saw is Incursions was planned to run 2 times a month. That changed to once a month in a test situation. It was also planned to run during the week. Well, they just tested it during the weekend, but that's not the only changes. They changed the events in terms of how the rollouts were for the zoned SMS. That went from originally being a specific system where everybody got smashed around to being damage dealt to anything in any system, making the SMSs a lot easier to complete for the average player. There are still some things on these lists that didn't get addressed, you know, like different events, because some people have already talked about a little bit how it feels that Incursions has gotten a little monotonous. It's the same thing over and over, and there needs to be some parity, some variety. And obviously the matchmaking is problematic for a lot of players, but that was part of the negatives and positives that we had for future runs. And you see the top one here was something they looked into. They also have talked about the rating mechanic, but have not made any changes to PvE scoring. But you've also seen several different things that they did address. So same idea this go around, and obviously feedback is strongly wanted. And not only in the forum, but you can put feedback in the comments here on YouTube, but definitely want to push the forum. Here's what we're going to go around and do this time. So same basic idea. This is number 2. So the premise of this is to take the changes from Incursion number 2 and Incursion number 3 and say, did it get better? This is not just grading Incursions number 3. We're basically taking the first version we had, which obviously y'all saw the complaints. 58% of people disliked it, and the lag was, you know, the worst of the 3 in my experience, though this third one did have a little bit worse. Second one was better. You know, there was a lot of events running concurrently with this one that changed things up a little bit, but we're going to have the standard run that we had before. So like if I'm a level 42, which I am, I would say, yes, I enjoyed Incursions overall. It's not perfect. There's a lot of things that I would like to alter, but I think as an event, I do enjoy it. So I would select yes. There's a reason we just went straight yes and no. If you just straight hate Incursions, put it in here and you're going to list why. If you do like Incursions, or there are things you liked about Incursions, but it needs tweaking, then you're a yes person. And then we get into the details here. So if you like, please write out what you did or did not like about Incursions. I do encourage everybody to use this. If y'all saw when we did the original run, we went through and looked and keyword searched all of those big things that y'all mentioned. And it was a big deal. I mean, it was a huge talking, it was a huge project, and shout out to those who helped, Stewie Doo and Arian and Olden DJ help with sharing. But just to give you a recursor or recap, this is what we did. See that keyword, the elephant in the room? That came up 1,100 times in our responses of 4,600 people. So definitely going to take all of your responses as a whole and use those for the critique as we go through it. So back over here, we have some newer things. What can make Incursions better? But we have 4 new questions that are just straight yes or no that I prefer you to answer, or really request that you answer. So did you like Scopely's change of running the Incursions on weekend / outside the BP? Now, the reason we did this is because these are major points that they said they would adjust and work on from the initial point of feedback. Now, there are other points of feedback coming, but these are changes they made directly based on what y'all were saying. So did we like that? I personally did. If you didn't, like, let's just say that, hey, weekends don't work for you, or weekends you prefer to be something else, you can say no. It's okay to disagree with the content creator. Very clear. Now, next up is, did you like Scopely's change with the setting of the PvP events to be damage-based without a specific system? Now, I know many people are going to say, hey, well, that opened it up to where, you know, whales could come in and smack you, but if that was happening, it was already happening, and this made it far easier to complete the event, meaning that you got more of the subspace relays or whatever the reward was at that time. But generally, we're looking at the subspace relays, and we're looking at Uno shards and things that most players are going to get during incursions to incentivize the event scoring. I do want to point out that rewards is still a big complaint from what I've seen, and the rewards need to get better. We're still going to have that. That's what these boxes are for. Mention the rewards. Did you like Scopely's change to the attack defense events and their timers? For those that don't remember, in the original run of the game, there was a 12-hour window for attack and a 12-hour window for defense. And that was it. Now it's running concurrently on both sides. So if you invade the other server, you got the attack SMS. If you are defending on your server, defense SMS. And it requires you to be on both sides so that you can complete both. So that is something that I personally liked, but I'm curious everybody else's opinion. And then this one I added for communication's sake, because there was a big issue early on was either they didn't hear about incursions, they didn't know incursions was happening, there wasn't any in-game mail. In-game news launched far earlier. I know definitely in the second run of incursions, we had encouraged them to use the admin bot. That happened. I don't remember if it happened in the third incursions, but overall communication was better. I will say there was a one big snafu with incursions number 3. Server 186 in particular had server 186 was told that y'all weren't in incursions. Well, they were, and that kind of sucked. And then all the newer servers, 88, 89, 90, 91, etc., ran through incursions prep events but didn't actually have incursions, and that definitely peeved a few people, understandably. So that's feedback that's going to them and things that we will be discussing. But this is the basic premise of the new survey. And if we can get the same type of results in terms of people participating, and I really need to ask genuinely, not for me, but for y'all's own feedback. We've seen this work already. Please, please, please share this out on your Discord, in-game, on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, wherever. We need as many players as possible to answer this. It's launching my time, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on Monday. We're probably going to run it through Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see how it goes. Depends on when the devs want to schedule our meeting. So this is your opportunity. We've seen these projects work. Hopefully you enjoy this type of work. You enjoy seeing the changes. And even if you are one of those people who just simply hates incursions, I want to hear from you. Please don't feel like your voices aren't being heard, because one of the things that I'm asking for and fighting for is for more events to do. What I mean by that is just a PvE element for some of those players. And we had Faction Hunt running this weekend while Incursions was happening, and we had the Labor Day event. Some people like that, some people didn't. Either way, they are looking at that, but it still doesn't count as running a different mechanic for Incursions. I still think that the rating sways it too heavy in one direction for points scored. It only takes 1 or 2 high-level players to forget their shields and get drained for it all to get washed away. We've also noticed on a couple of servers where some players, I guess you can call them spies, how would you word this, traitors, have actually been feeding base locations to raid to other players on the opposite server, or even letting themselves be drained to allow point scoring. Obviously, that's not in the spirit of Incursions, but I mean, it's not against terms of service at all, but it definitely leaves some servers feeling some type of way, and I can definitely understand why. That's just, wow, why would you do that to your own team? Even if I hated everybody on server 20, I can't imagine doing that to them, but hey, that's the nature of the game. That's the crazy socio-political standards that we can set and create, and the way that we can really alter how people play. And can't wait to discuss this more on Twitch with y'all, which I'll be live tonight as of the making of this video. But again, link is in the description of this video. I want to get as much feedback as possible, including YouTube, Facebook, etc. comments. The forum is not the end-all be-all, but it definitely is a big piece. So again, go to the comment section. Please let us know what you think, what you thought, and what you want to be better about Incursions. And no matter what your opinion is, let me have it, okay? Appreciate y'all. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for this Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. And by the way, for those level 25 players, the new ones hitting level 25, I am trying to figure out how they're going to permanently source the subspace relay token to allow you to get the building and start participating. Trying to find out that information. Appreciate y'all watching. Deuces, catch you on the next one. We outie. Appreciate y'all's help.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.